LBHT crew. If you guys can only see what goes on behind the scenes here before we hit this live button and after. All right. Well, it's a good week for Ravens flock and Panthers Nation. All right. Both teams got the win. And man, yes, Omar Tillman is very happy. We got some things to discuss in Carolina as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to have a conversation because that team looks.
If you're gonna start a dialogue,
yes, that team looks completely different with Andy Dalton.
But it's what we
Even the
talked about.
defense.
It's what we talked about and why he had to be benched, because you can't evaluate anything else that's going on with him on the field. The offense just didn't work, and it's because he is not currently an NFL player.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get into that because I mean, shoot, we can start with that if you want. I mean, what was the score? 36-22. Panthers beat the Raiders,
and it wasn't even really that close. They scored a couple touchdowns late.
Yeah, the Panthers did what the Ravens should have done last week. I mean, let's just be real about it. The game should not have been that close. The Raiders aren't a better team. It wasn't a hard-fought game. It's just that John Harbaugh, he coaches down to the level of competition. And Dave Canales wasn't playing around. Okay?
So what we had here, because again, remember, the week before, Bryce had completed 18 passes for 84 yards, I believe. Mm-hmm. Today, Andy Dalton, 26 for 37, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice, had a rating of 123.6. Chuba Hubbard, 21 carries, 114 yards. Deontay Johnson, 8 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard had another 55 yards receiving and a touchdown. Xavier Legette got the ball. He had a couple catches. He had a 35-yard catch and then another shorter one later. Jonathan Mingo, he had 3 catches for 18 yards on his 4 targets. They weren't able to get the donation to Jatavian, but you see.
You got to read Buck's donation.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. But you can see a clear difference with the veteran running the offense as opposed to Bryce.
Yeah. Shout out to Buck for the $3 donation. I appreciate it.
Buck says, if you told me the first QB who would throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns was Andy Dalton, I would say, what drugs are you on, sir?
Yeah. Shout out to the chat, man. Big Reg is in the house. Salute Big Reg. Thanks for coming through. Hendo, I don't know why you're in the chat and not here.
You clicked the wrong link. I'm gonna get him set up though.
Okay, I'm gonna say because don't pull affairs. I put your name in the description, so you need to be here, my friend. Osman, what's going on? Got our guy Shug in the house. Shug's team, the Steelers, they are 3-0. All right, salute to you. Yes, indeed.
Yes, the Giants also did get a win today.
Giants got a win. Wow, look at that. Everybody's happy today. G. Armand, thanks for coming through. Salute. Omar Tillman, we got you. Jared Green in the house. Yes, Jared. Yeah, we almost blew that game, Jared. We got Yolanda in the house. Shout out to Yolanda. Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Yolanda?
Who just made a donation. Appreciate you. Pay the bills. Salute. We got Danny D. What's going on, Danny D? Danny says, get that bum Harbaugh off my team. Welcome to the chat. Ravens got to win. Panthers got to win. Hit the like and subscribe button. Cash App, $ LBHTShow. Yes, indeed.
Cash App. Be saying hello before she slanders somebody.
She get down to business. Okay, right down to business. And like Dandy said, Cash App, $ LBHTShow. Also that pin link that you see in the chat box. That's how we do our super chat over here. So if you're looking for the super chat button, just click that link that you see in the chat box. And it works the same way as a super chat. Leave your donation, leave your comment. You get that animation on the screen. We read your comment on air. All right. Yes, but Andy Dalton B. Yeah, he took advantage of the weapons that were provided, an improved O-line, and he did what Bryce Young was expected to do. So,
and a good play caller, which is what we were expecting with Dave Canales. Bryce, and Josh Norris on Twitter, if you're not familiar with him, he's a longtime Panthers fan, does great work. Mostly he does a lot in fantasy football, but if you're not following Josh Norris, you should go follow Josh Norris. But he said it, when they first benched him, that last year was the Panthers' fault. right? The O line was not in a state to protect him. They didn't really have weapons for him. They just had Adam Thielen, and he was a rookie. They were switching out coaches and everything. But they went through the offseason. They improved the wide receivers. They improved the O line. They got a new coaching staff. And what he said was Bryce was not able to reset with everyone else. The whole environment got better and Bryce got worse.
Yeah.
And that could be just it could be because of what happened in his rookie year. He just wasn't able to shake it off. Or it could just be that it could be that he went through that season and this training camp and the preseason and everything and was like, you know what, I might really not be good enough to do this. And that's just sticking with him.
Yeah.
But he got out there and he didn't even look as good as he did last year. When he was making good decisions and getting the ball out on time, he wasn't accurate with it. So nothing at all was working. Like they couldn't throw the ball even 10 yards downfield
Right.
at all. So they couldn't get the run game going. You can't evaluate the wide receivers. Bryce he looked defeated after both games.
He did.
And they got him out of there, and it's an immediate turnaround with Dalton.
Like I said, they did what the Ravens were supposed to do last week, man. Completely dismantled the Ravens or the Raiders, and yeah, I mean that should QB right now. We have to see. I don't think the door's completely shut on Bryce Young. Okay. I know a lot of people think that. I know you think that. You think he just can't play, and it looks that way right now. It looks that way. Give him the year. I mean, there's really no other choice. So it's not even one of those things where like we're having a disagreement about what needs to be done. He needed to be benched. Whether you feel that benching him is going to ruin him the rest of his career, or he just doesn't have it. Like he can't go out there every week and play the way he played, knowing that you have this kind of talent on the team and you can be competitive right now. If he can't get his confidence back, if he can't get it together down the road, sucks, right? You have to draft somebody else. But this is a team sport, and it sucks that he got a very, very bad shake. Okay, came to a tough situation, and he didn't handle it well. This is where he's got to be mentally tough. He's got to be able to say, all right, man, I still got confidence in myself. I'm going to, just learn, pick things up, and I'm gonna, get back in there first chance I get and really show that I can play this game. That's the only thing that he can do. If he can't do it, then you draft somebody else. But for now, Andy's the guy.
I think they're gonna draft somebody else regardless. I think he's done in Carolina. But
Might be.
luckily for him, there's a lot of teams around the league that believe in him. Everybody just about had him as the number one quarterback prior to the draft last year. So it's been reported they've received a lot of interest in trading for Bryce Young, which is what I think they're going to end up doing this offseason once everything gets settled. They figure out where they are in the draft and who they think they can get. I think they'll move on from him. And I do want to say too, like it really irritates me that the mainstream media as a whole kind of just craps on the Panthers about this whole thing, right? Like every team in the league has drafted busts at quarterback. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so easy for them to go and just say, hey, Carolina's a joke and Carolina did this, blah, 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 and really just kind of slander the entire organization from the owner on down is because it's something we've talked about a lot with Lamar, something we've talked about with Cam. They all had Bryce as the top quarterback, and they were wrong. And they don't want to admit that they were wrong. So now it's Carolina's fault that he can't play. And if he never gets it together, it's because Carolina broke him.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Fine, whatever, right? Like if they move on from Bryce and they get a quarterback that works for them, then it doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can you and I talked about the Browns earlier today, or was it yesterday, and how I said when they went and got Deshaun Watson, gave him that fully guaranteed contract, it was a big risk, but it was a risk that they needed to take. They had everything else that they needed on the team. They just needed a quarterback, and you do whatever you have to do to get a quarterback like that, right? He was a top quarterback in the league. But I also joked how it would be the most Cleveland thing if it didn't work out,
Yeah.
right? And it hasn't worked out, but they've remained competitive. They went through what 4 quarterbacks last year and still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're not the same laughing stock that we're used to seeing. Like they're a competitive team. Are good? No, but they're competitive. What's up, Warbone? Salute to you. Oh, we're going to get to the Dallas game in a second. We're talking some Panthers right now, but thanks for coming through. I appreciate that, Warbone.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as Carolina, they looked much better. The offense looked good, and granted, it's just the Raiders, so it's not a huge deal. But for a Panthers fan base that we were going on the 7th season of a losing record, the one who got stomped out by New Orleans, embarrassed by the Chargers. It's a nice feeling to go out there and get a win, particularly a pretty comfortable win, unlike what happened in Dallas.
And it's important for Dave Canales.
Mhm.
It's important for him to show this team, hey, my strategy works. My plan works. Stick to my plan, right?
Well, and we discussed that last week as well. Like he had to bench him for his own, security. Like he's a first-time head coach, and if he keeps on running Bryce out there every single week, he's probably not going to make it to a second year.
Pay the bill says just the Raiders. Shut up, B. I'm happy for you though.
I wasn't even taking shots at anybody, but it is just the Raiders.
Yeah.
They're 1-2. I don't know what.
Yeah. Okay. So the team that couldn't beat the Raiders last week, the Ravens, they almost did it again. B. They almost blew it.
Well, it's crazy because they came out like they normally do in must-win situations. They came out focused, they came out executing, and they came out showing who the better team was, right? Because it looked like Dallas didn't belong on the same field with them early in the game.
It did.
So going and looking at Lamar didn't throw the ball much today, 12 for 15, 182 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, was not sacked at all today, 139.4 rating. Then you finally got a Derrick Henry game.
Had a rushing touchdown too.
Yeah, no, I'm with Derrick Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lamar had 14 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. Justice Hill put in some work too. He had 33 yards on 5 carries. Derrick Henry caught a pretty long pass for Derrick Henry, a 23-yarder. They got a huge play out of Nelson Aguilar early in the game, a 56-yard one that probably should have gone for a touchdown, but didn't, but that's all right. Rashad Bateman caught a touchdown today. It was all working. They got a couple sacks from Kyle Van Noy. They were completely shutting down Dallas. Your boy Nate Wiggins was getting worked a little bit by CeeDee Lamb, but he forced a fumble on him that ended the drive that looked like it was going to be a touchdown and make it a game early on. And then, as always happens, at some point in the fourth quarter, John Harbaugh looked up and said, "Oh my God, we're up by 10," and then it all started to fall apart.
Yeah, that just really irritated me. What's going on, Antonio? Says coaching made this a close game. Should have been a blowout. I'll take the W. Go Ravens. Caw-caw! No, like that's the frustrating part about Harbaugh is that you let your foot off the pedal, right? We came out in the third quarter, second half, and did exactly what you needed to do. Run the ball with Derrick Henry, got a touchdown. And it's just like, okay, this defense is defeated. They had their hands on the hips in the second quarter. What are you laughing at?
Buddha Christ said, I don't know if anybody else noticed towards the end of the game, but Harbaugh looked like he was almost in tears. I did notice that. I pointed that out when we were watching, but he looked upset because when Lamar was going into the game at the end, when they needed to get a couple first downs to put the game away, like he looked upset.
Yeah,
and they panned over to the sidelines, and John Harbaugh looked like he wanted to cry.
Yeah, and shout out to KP for the donation. Can you pull his comment up, B?
Yes, pull it up now. So yeah, KP says, thank you very much, KP. He says, this team is beyond cooked. Not gonna lie. Tucker is washed. Whole coaching staff needs to go. And Lamar just praised Falele, so that means he's not going anywhere, unfortunately. This team is definitely going to miss the playoffs because they can't finish.
I won't
Thank
say
you very
beyond
much.
cooked. I won't say beyond cooked, but there's some definite concerns. But yeah, I mean, you're doing everything you need to do. Yep, 28-6. There should be no way that this team can come back on you. They look defeated. They're already winded going into halftime. They come out in the second half and they still look tired. And Derrick Henry is rolling, but we do that conservative play nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting first downs anymore. We're not being aggressive. We're not putting like Coach would say. We're not putting our foots on their necks. And what just really did it for me was it's 4th and 2. We're on the 30 something yard line, and it's like, they can't stop us. Go for it.
It is
We
what
always,
it is what your
it,
entire team is built for.
but this is what Harbaugh always goes for it in those situations, right? Like any other game, like it feels like a regular game. If it was a little bit closer, we'd be going for it. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything to lose at that point. Go for it. Okay, if you don't get it, you don't get it. Same result that happened because Justin Tucker missed another field goal. Okay, but you go for it. You drain the clock some more, and you could possibly get a touchdown, or at least get a little bit closer for Justin Tucker. We'll talk about Justin Tucker in a minute. I know people are panicking about him. I'm not panicking about him. Not worried about Justin Tucker at all. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why in a minute, but yeah, it's just that type of play calling. It's just a conservative play calling. Same thing. We get the ball back. They go and score. We get the ball back, 3 and out, and it's just like what are you doing? Now you want to get Mark Andrews involved in the fourth quarter. He ain't gotten involved in the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't played in the whole game, and now in the fourth quarter you want to try to do a little out pass to him. They didn't connect, and we're off the field again. Yeah, we almost blew it. The onside kick that we didn't get. Like, Harbaugh is a special teams coach, and our special teams looks terrible. Shanking a punt last week that cost us the game. The missed field goals.
Like he's seriously only on the team because you spent a 4th round pick on him, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not a good punter.
They're hyping him up like he's a great punter. He's not.
No.
He's just a guy. I don't say he's bad, but he's just a guy. Now, Justin Tucker, not worried about Justin Tucker. I think he'll turn it around. I don't think he's going to keep missing these field goals. But even if he's cooked, so what? Stop relying on your kicker. Right?
The one person that you don't get to be mad at is Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker has won you so many games that you had no business winning over the years.
Yeah. You know who looked good? Their kicker.
Yeah. Hit a 65-yarder. Aubrey.
Hit us.
Brandon
Yeah.
Aubrey.
He looked great. And they were getting crushed because they were kicking field goals and we were scoring touchdowns. That's what I want to see every week. Yeah. I don't care if we're missing field goals. I want extra points. So if he's done, good. We need to stop leaning on him because we've leaned on Justin Tucker for years, and that has to stop.
Yeah, he's become he's a safety net for Baltimore, right?
Yep.
Because he never used to miss. And look, he's not washed as a kicker. He's missed long field goals. He's never missed under 30. Right? Now, I mean, granted,
it's kind of weird.
If you want him to be able to hit those 50+ field goals, but I mean, again, he's the one person that I'm not pointing at Justin and being like, you know what, you're to blame. After how many times I've seen him win games for Baltimore with ridiculous kicks that nobody should have been able to make.
We had no business winning.
you don't get to rely on him forever.
Yeah. So no, it is what it is. I don't care about that. Defense B. Somebody said in the chat earlier, hashtag defund the defense. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Get your hashtag defund the defense shirts at lbhtshow.com/shop. Okay. We sell them over there. That defense, they look great. Again, they look great for 3 quarters. And then they just didn't know how to defend the middle all of a sudden. Every pass was down the middle, wide open wide receiver, touchdowns. Wide receivers, tight ends. We can't block tight ends or defend tight ends. We can't defend the slant. I don't know. Warbone says my Cowboys come flat and we miss opportunities to win. Same thing with the Ravens. I told y'all, Harbaugh and Mike McCarthy are the exact same coach. They even had a graphic today, B. They put up their records almost as the whole resume. They put it up identical.
Yeah.
Warbone says we need to run the ball. You weren't going to run on us. That's the one thing that we can't do. We can stop the run. Y'all don't have the running backs to do it.
And Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and them weren't able to really affect the game today because Baltimore didn't give them a chance to. Like we talked about before the game, they threw the ball 15 times. Not sure how many total dropbacks they had, but that's not a lot of opportunities, right? And they said, hey, you know what? The Dallas Cowboys can't stop the run. Let's run every play until they stop it, which is what they should have done against Kansas City in the AFC Championship last year and failed to do. But they did it today with the season on the line, so that's nice.
Now the Cowboys, they did the opposite. They couldn't run, and they threw the ball 51 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tough day. Tough day for y'all. Y'all almost pulled the comeback win because that's what Harbaugh does. Lamar had to take the game in his hands literally, pick up that last first down because
he had the pass to Zay to convert, and then the 9 or 10 yard run to put it away. And I want to hear the praise for Lamar just as loud as the slander for Lamar when you lose a game, which was also your defense's fault. Because again, they shouldn't have had to get any first down at the end to put this one away. You were up 22-6 or 28-6 or whatever it was, and he still had to come in and save your defense and bail out your defense at the end.
This won't be talked about. You're absolutely right. If Lamar would have fumbled the ball or something like that, and they go on to win, then they would have been talking about Lamar lost the game. But so I drove home in the third quarter. Darren.
Yeah, John Harbaugh happened.
Played way too conservative. Let them back in the game. Justin Tucker missed a field goal, even though we should have went for it on fourth down. But an onside kick happened. That they got. Kid 78 just subscribe. Appreciate you. Yes, look, 83 people in here. Hit that like and subscribe button. Much appreciated. We just crossed the 2,000 subscriber mark. We're going for 3,000, and we want to hit that ASAP. So hit that subscribe button. Share with your friends and loved ones. Darren says Derrick Henry is him, though. Yeah, we gotta. Look, he's good.
He had a really good game today. Saquon Barkley went for 147 and 2 touchdowns today, averaging 8.6 a carry. He is
him. Nitro. Nitro says LBHT loves Harbaugh. Yeah, right. Yeah, we love him. We just don't want him on a team. Okay, so what was I saying? But yeah, no, like if Lamar had fumbled the ball there, or they just or Lamar didn't do anything, we just didn't get a first down, they would have blamed Lamar for losing this game if Dallas comes back in and wins. But he took matters into his own hands. That defense completely folded in the fourth quarter. That's what happened. They folded. Nobody's getting any stops. Nobody's getting any pressures. Lots of penalties. Like some of those penalties were really bad calls. I'll say that. But it doesn't matter. Like the defense got to hold up. You got to do your job. And they didn't. So, yes, Lamar absolutely bailed them out. And that will not be talked about.
Yeah. Not at all.
Here. Argo Valley says, Ravens need a better head coach. Harbaugh is petty and vindictive by continuing to play McCarry and Falele. Yeah. Now, they played better today. They did. But, yeah, play your best players. Living Legend, what's going on, says, I don't trust Tucker for the first time in his career. Good. We shouldn't be relying on him. I trust him. That's the only way I rely on him. That's all. He missed a field goal today. The first 2 games he missed a field goal. We're like, well, that's a wrap. We lost, right? That should never happen. Today he missed a field goal, and it's like, all right, whatever. Because we were up big at the time. It should never come down to that. It should never come down to that. Filthy, what's going on? Says they are trying to keep Lamar's stats down on purpose. Nah, I don't think they're trying to do that. I don't think they're trying to do that. Warbone says beginning of the game, my Cowboys was running the ball and stopped. Yeah, well, they didn't just stop. Like they were getting stopped, right? And when you get down, B says this all the time. When you get down in a game, the running stops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Offensive coordinators stop the run game because
Yeah.
they will not continue to run in a competitive game or when they're behind.
If you're, I mean, Dallas is in a good run team, right? Like I know you guys like Rico Dowdle. He's solid. You know, you still got a little bit from Ezekiel Elliott. Well, he didn't do much today. But if you're down 2 scores and running isn't your forte, you gonna keep trying to run it? No, you're gonna do what you do best. You're gonna pass. You're gonna pass
Like,
the ball.
you just paid out what $96 million a year to Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Don't put it on Rico Dowdell. Like we talk about the Ravens, and them needing to put money into the offense so that you can put the expectations on the offense. Right now, yeah, they've paid Lamar, but they haven't done anything else really to build up that offense around him. So you shouldn't have those lofty expectations. In Dallas, you have the number 1 receiver. He's one of the best receivers in the league. You have the franchise quarterback. You need to expect from them much better than you got today and last week.
Darren wants to know, so is Bunkin ass or what? Yes, John Harbaugh is ass.
Yeah.
I'm done blaming coordinators. We've been doing that for far too long. We've been blaming coordinators back from what was the name? Cam Cameron?
Mm-hmm.
That was our Super Bowl year. You guys don't even remember Cam Cameron. He was our original coordinator before we fired him mid-season. Right? And Jim Caldwell took over and we won the Super Bowl. We've been blaming coordinators of Harbaugh's for well over a decade.
A tradition like no other.
Yeah. Mark Trestman. Who else was there?
Marty Morningweg, Greg Roman.
Yeah. I'm done blaming the coordinators. It's not the coordinator.
You couldn't blame Wink Martindale when they had a top 10 defense.
Yeah. So I'm done. It's not the coordinator. It is the head coach. 100%. He said, but it worked the first time. Oh, well, when we fired the coordinator, yeah. But see, where we messed up was we didn't do it mid-season.
Yeah.
You know, that year he had a lot of pressure on him because he wasn't a proven coach yet, right? He wasn't established, and he didn't have full control of the team per se. You know, like he didn't really have as much control of the team. So they're still kind of watching him. He didn't, the locker room, that's when they had the mutiny. The veterans weren't really buying into him that much. And, his job wasn't 100% secure. So when you're losing like that and the players are like, hey, we're not feeling this, you have to do something drastic. So that's what he did. And that was his boy. Cam Cameron was his friend. He said, hey, I'm sorry, man. It's you or me. And it ain't going to be me. What's going on, House? Thanks for coming through. Dean Pease. Yeah, Dean Pease is another one. Passive Peas. Remember that? So 33 Lady Ram, what's going on? Says 22-1 now. Against the NFC. I think that's our record now against the NFC.
You know who the one
that's
is?
Another thing. Huh?
You know who the one is?
The Giants.
Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. What up, Ferris?
And they won today.
They sure did.
Shout out to Ferris, man. Shout out to Ferris and the Giants. Yeah, the NFC. I don't know, man. Like, what do you think it is? Like, is it just that they're just not used to playing a player like Lamar?
I think that Lamar is one of the best players in the league, and he's difficult to stop. And the teams in the NFC, by and large, are just not as good as the teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
The AFC has the best teams in the NFL from a talent perspective. San Francisco's up there, but outside of them, who really? The Lions a little bit, I guess. Yeah. But who else do you trust in the NFC?
I heard a 49ers YouTuber, Grant Cohn, and his dad. They were doing a live stream after we beat them down, right? and they weren't even that angry. They're just kind of, they're just talking about the game. They're like, yeah, man, like the Ravens are great. Lamar's great. Like that doesn't surprise me that they beat us up. And Grant's father was just like, there's a difference between NFC and AFC, when it comes to toughness. He was like, the 49ers are tough, but they're not AFC tough. Right. And that stuck out to me. He's like, it's a different level of physicality on that side of the conference. He just like, and we found out like the Ravens are tough, you know? And I don't think that's us this year. I don't think we're like that. But I think Dallas is kind of soft, right? No disrespect to my Dallas fans, man. Like, I like the Cowboys. Bill tell you I like Cowboys. I like Dak, but I see some softness out there from them.
Cowboys the softest team in the league.
Not the softest team in the league.
Year in and year out, they are the
Not
softest
the
team in the
softest
league.
team in the league. But
Year in and year out,
they got bullied.
Softest.
They were talking about their body language, how they look like they were out of it. Even Coach talked about it on his stream. He's like, man, look at the faces, man. Why do they look like all defeated? It's only 14-3. I said, Coach, they're beat up. That's what's going on. You're getting roughed up. You can't have your way out there. Things ain't going right. You're tired. Their hands were on their hips. They're beat up. They're defeated already. I thought it was going to be much worse. I thought we were going to put up 42 points.
Mm-hmm.
But Harbaugh.
I was like, whoa, hit the brakes.
McCarthy teams are always soft. Yeah, you're right, Dan. You're right. So, no disrespect to the Dallas fans, but that, I think they would agree. What's going on, Shaheen? Yeah. Thanks for coming through. Says we had Mike McDonald in the house. Yes, he at least could have taken care of the defense. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. At this point, but you remember this was an issue in Mike McDonald's first year as well.
It was
them just giving away leads.
I think the defense will play better. They'll play better. It's a matter of consistency right now, and that'll happen over the course of the year. But they should have started out that way, in my opinion. Sylvester 59 says, with all the talent we have, we should be unstoppable. Hence the reason why we need a real coach. We don't have any talent on offense. That's the thing me and B always argue. We don't have I won't say we don't have any talent. We don't have a lot of talent. Yeah. We do
they've got Zay, who is still developing. It looks like not ready to be that every week guy yet. You got Isaiah Likely, who shows up every now and then. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, he had a great close to the season last year. And he showed up every week at the end of the season last year, but he hasn't shown the ability to do that for a full season. Right. The O-line is not good, and none of the other receivers are good. So you have two guys who are very young, trying to grow into their roles. Mark Andrews is a talented guy, and I'm not sure if he's hurt right now or if the injuries have just kind of taken him down a peg or two. But he's not somebody that the other team has to worry about at this point.
He's not a factor.
No,
he's not a factor. Yes, if he could very well be hurt. The Ravens are known liars when it comes to players and their injuries. They'll conceal it. They'll lie about it. He could be hurt and he's trying to play through it. I would advise him not to play through it. I don't care what kind of pressure that he's getting from the coaching staff. If you're hurt, don't play.
Yeah,
don't play, because look what they did to Ronnie Stanley.
Right. And a few people have mentioned this in the chat now. I'll go ahead and pull it up for pay the bills here. He says Roquan got tortured in zone coverage today.
Yep.
Yeah, man. That's why you should not have paid Roquan Smith.
That's right.
It is what it is. He's a good linebacker. He's a very good linebacker, whatever. But he's never going to be that guy that you expect him to be for the amount of money he's making. Never.
Yeah. Yep, you're right, Danity. Kolar did more than Andrews.
Yeah, and Likely combined.
Yeah. Alaska man, you might be onto something. He says, I think the car accident did something for sure.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
And if that's the case, like Jose said, he needs to take the time off.
Yep. All right, we are not going to be long. I don't know what happened to Hendo.
You don't.
I don't know what happened to Hendo. See, you're pulling a Ferris, Hendo. Now I gotta change the description. Okay, Hendo is not here. He's supposed to be here, but We won't be too long. Coach is doing a call-in show right now, I believe. So call and get it off your chest. Okay, get your thoughts on the game. We were feeling good for I don't know, like a good 2 hours, and then that last quarter, man. You know, we pull out the win, so we're happy to get the win. But man, I don't feel great about it. Who we have next week? Buffalo.
Next week you have Buffalo because Carolina has Cincinnati next week. We'll take care of them for you. No worries.
Thank you. I think you're gonna win.
Andy Dalton revenge game. Anybody?
I think you guys are going to beat Cincinnati.
That's right.
Cincinnati's not looking great right now. Can we beat Buffalo? Yeah, absolutely. We can beat Buffalo.
I would
Buffalo,
not expect that.
I don't know. I'm still not a believer in Buffalo yet. Right.
I believe in Buffalo. I believe, but so the thing is, I believe in Buffalo. I think they are one of the best teams in the league. Right. Josh Allen, I think, has been fantastic so far.
Yes.
I believe that those are the kind of games that Baltimore gets up for. And when Baltimore's on and Lamar Jackson is on, extremely difficult to beat. Like they're nigh unbeatable when Lamar is on and the rest of them are playing well. But the way the defense has played through 3 weeks, I don't believe that they can outscore Buffalo. The defense has been garbage for 3 weeks.
How about that? For what we've paid and what we've invested into this defense, they should not be getting off to a slow start. And again, I think they'll get better towards the end of the year. I just don't think that a change in a defensive coordinator should be that big of a difference when you have veterans on the team, when you have top level players on the team already, right? They play together already. Matabiki's been here, Hamilton's been here, Roquan Smith's been here, Marcus Williams has been here, Marlon Humphrey, right? Those are the core of your team. So it shouldn't be a filling out phase. Like they should be hitting the ground running. So
yeah,
I'm not okay with that. And you gave the offense absolutely nothing in the meantime. So yes, when they're not playing great and you're relying on the offense to get you back in the game, that ain't on Lamar. That ain't on anybody but Harbaugh and EDC.
Yeah.
Yes, Lamar was great.
Anybody want to talk about Nnamdi Madubuike and the contract you gave him that we said don't give him? When we said he almost had a safety, but didn't record. He had a 1 QB hit, no tackles for loss, no sacks.
It should have been a safety.
That's cool. But hey, I should have had a safety in week 3. Is not. And I'll say he's done. Not that he's done nothing else, but you have not gotten the return on investment so far from Nnamdi Madubuike. But again, a guy who I think will turn it around and play better, but money that could have been spent better elsewhere.
Yes, that's the thing. Has he been playing bad? No, hasn't been playing bad. Getting pressures and all that. And like you said, he's going to play better. But losing him wouldn't have been as impactful as putting that money towards a playmaker on offense. Right? Like, if we don't have Madubuike, how much worse is the defense? It ain't that much worse.
God Emperor Ether says, bro, you need a defense. Do you have a defense? 25 is the least that they've given up this season.
We're the worst passing defense in the league. And we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars on the defense. Can't win the AFC without a D. We haven't won. And we've had you've had
great defenses. You had great defenses and haven't won. Kansas City has won a Super Bowl without a great defense. Cincinnati got to the Super Bowl without a good defense. So,
yeah, So yeah. Okay, you're just talking. You're not saying anything. That's your opinion. You're wrong. All right. Not saying that the defense, it can be trash, but to invest all this money and picks like we're doing and not getting a return on it, like, no, we don't need to do that. That's why we say over here, hashtag defund the defense. If we didn't have Madubuike right now, we'd be okay. Is what I'm saying. Had we went and gotten Brandon Ayuk, that would have helped us a lot more.
Got Emperor, and they were starting Eli Apple at corner. Like, the defense wasn't good, but the fact that they can go out there and put up points at will makes other teams one-dimensional and makes it easier to play defense.
Yeah.
The Ravens cannot do that. The Ravens get to the playoffs and they can't score. And then your defense, whether they hold up or not, doesn't really matter. Because again, they've had once again, we say this all the time. They held Pat Mahomes to 17. They held Joe Burrow to 17. They held Josh Allen to 10, and you lost all 3 of those games.
Yeah, because you're saying you need defense. Offense is first. You need offense. Because all the teams you mentioned were at least top 10 in offense. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Offense is the problem. Offense is priority, not defense. Offense is a priority, and I love defense, but in today's NFL, you have to prioritize offense. You have no O-line. You don't have any playmakers. All right, you're just relying on Lamar Jackson and the 30-year-old running back who played well today. But can he do that for 17 games in the playoffs? That's the question. So, you're sitting here pointing fingers at the offense. The offense is constructed exactly how EDC and Harbaugh wanted this offense. They knew exactly what they had in that O-line. They knew that. That was what this O-line is doing right now is not a surprise. That's why EDC said before the season started, next year. He said next year they'll be good. They'll be where we need them to be. So they don't expect good O-line play from this offense. So yeah, you blame them. Okay. Now the defense is where we're expected better play from, and they're not getting it. Stop spending your money on that side of the ball. All right, we'll read a few more comments. We'll get out of here. 85 people in here. Look at that, man. Football season is back. People are in the chat, okay, enjoying the win. Both the Ravens and the Panthers. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, okay? Like our man God Emperor here. I'm not sure if you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Josh Hoffman, what's going on? I know you're subscribed. Says also, will we give him the ball even if he's playing great? If he's playing extra great, then they'll probably overuse him and be too predictable. We can't win without our play calling. Is my fear. Without play calling is my fear. Yeah. Yeah, bad. The coaching is bad too. Like we're talking about everybody that's doing bad. The coaching is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that needs to get better too. But Harbaugh always does better when it's a big game and his back's against the wall. Those are the 2 times that he really gets up for the game. But that's been a concern for Harbaugh for over a decade. Okay. So, all right. Callie on Wilson going on says Ravens don't want star offensive players on this team because in big games like the AFC Championship, those star players would demand the ball. John doesn't want that. Yeah, John definitely doesn't want any alpha males on offense. He doesn't want anybody getting in his face saying, get me the ball. Right? Like, remember in the Super Bowl last year when Kelsey went and chest bumped Andy Reid and says, get me the ball? And he's like, okay, man.
He turned from lovable Travis to this guy might be a little scary. I don't like the look of that goatee.
And he said, all right, man, shoot, I'll get you the ball. And he got him the ball. And what did he do? He made plays.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh doesn't like that. Everybody knows this about Harbaugh. This has been Harbaugh's MO for a very long time. He doesn't shy away from that. But we keep letting him just do that.
Remember when your big offseason acquisition, Odell Beckham, in the biggest game of the year, went to your quarterback and said, you got to do something.
Yeah. Help. I said, you got to run the ball, not get me the ball. And that's not the Odell I used to know. Right? The old Odell is like, hey, bro, I don't care if you see 3 people on me. I'm open. Right? Like CeeDee Lamb today. CeeDee Lamb was like, there's a rookie on me. Why aren't the balls coming my way?
Yeah.
Right? Like Harbaugh doesn't want those players. He said it to you guys. He said that. right? When he was talking about, oh, if you're a wide receiver that worries about your stats and this is and that and blah blah blah, don't come to the don't come over here. If you want to play in the AFC North, you want to play Ravens football, then we'll welcome you here. If you just care about your stats, then we'll look forward to playing against you. He doesn't want a wide receiver that wants to demand the ball. That's why Bateman is still here.
Yeah. They
That's how
gave
I
that
know.
man an extension.
And I have nothing against Bateman. I'm glad he got a touchdown today. Bateman ain't it. If Bateman was it, he'd be gone. Right? He'd be gone. Like, he should be demanding the ball. He should be saying, if he's as open as everybody says he is, he should be saying, get me the damn ball. I keep getting open. You're not looking at me. Hit me. I'm open. That's what he should be saying. And he's not doing it. So they say, you know what? We like that guy. Bring him back. You want your wide receivers screaming for the ball.
TJ says Lamar can't keep those type of wide receivers happy. Evidence? He's never played with that type of wide receiver, so how would you know?
Right. Yeah, which wide receiver are you talking about? Like CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb happy today? All right. Is Jamar Chase when he almost got into a fight with Joe Burrow? Is he happy right now? Wide receivers. See, TJ, you don't know what a great wide receiver looks like because we've never had one here. You don't know. I mean, we have Anquan Bolden's the closest, right? But you don't know that great wide receivers, they can be a little bit of a diva. They're going to argue with the coach. They're going to argue with the quarterback sometimes. They're going to say, "Get me the ball." There'll be a little tension sometimes, but that's normal. And if your coach is too fragile emotionally, right, to deal with some divas, he doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
He can't handle a couple of egos. He can't handle somebody complaining. He can't tell them, "Hey, shut up, man. I'm going to get you the ball. Relax." He can't do that. He's that fragile. I think he is. All right, come on. We are out of here. We're almost at an hour. Again, go over to Sip2 Tally Films. I think Coach is streaming right now. I think he's still doing a call-in show. So go over there and call in before he closes the phone lines. Danity says Jamar won't even sign an extension. Right. He's done talking with the Bengals. Right. Josh says great wide receivers by definition need to want the ball. That is what Harbaugh calls selfish, stat seeking by definition. I've been saying this. Right. Attitude Pop, what's going on? Says John Harbaugh still got to go. He coaches to lose instead of to win. We have these big leads, and he tells the OC to keep it safe and conservative instead of keeping our foot on the pedal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ayo Fawn says hashtag fire Harbaugh and friends. You got it. You're absolutely right. All right, we're gonna wrap this up because there's another game going on. Who's playing right now?
The Falcons and the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football.
What's the score? 7-0 Falcons. Okay.
Yeah, 14-yard touchdown to Drake London.
That's another player I would like to have on this team. Okay, so all right, go watch the game. Go watch some other talent. Okay, watch some other football. We say this every year. After you watch the Ravens game, go watch some other football so you see how the rest of the league works. Right. So when we're arguing about wide receivers, what they would do, what they should look like, and all this stuff, go look at what a real wide receiver will look like. If not Andy Dalton, if what's his name in Minnesota?
Sam Darnold.
If Sam Darnold can keep Justin Jefferson happy, if Sam Darnold can get the ball to Justin Jefferson, I promise you Lamar can keep Justin Jefferson happy here. I promise you. Lamar is a better passer than Sam Darnold. Nobody better ever argue otherwise because you're an idiot if you do. Okay? If Sam Darnold can get Justin Jefferson his stats, so can Lamar. Because you know why? That's what playmakers do.
Mm-hmm.
Playmakers make difficult catches. They catch inaccurate passes, and they get yards after the catch. They bail the quarterback out. We have nothing like that here.
Well, they get it intermittently, right? And you never know where it's going to come. Nelson Aguilar made a great play today. He caught the
Yes.
ball near the sideline. He made the one guy miss, and then he took off down the sideline, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to put this up. We're just going to go ahead and put you in timeout. Just absolute nonsense.
Yeah. But yeah. Like on a consistent basis, somebody that can do it on a consistent basis. That's what Jefferson does. That's what Jamar Chase does. You know, those type of players. We just don't have that, and they by design we don't have that. So you want that on the defensive side, then they need to do it. That's all we're saying. If your defense is your bread and butter, if that's where you're supposed to be, you know, if you want to spend your first round pick and ignore your O line to get a cornerback, then he can't be giving up plays. Now, he made a good play forcing a fumble. That's good. But he's got to do more. Right? Your safety's got to do more. They can't be missing tackles. You know, they can't be getting these flags. We had like 13 or 14 flags today. Now, some of them were bad calls. I'll give you that. But they have to be more disciplined. They have to make plays. They dropped a few interceptions today. One was I think there's about 3 that were in the defender's hands. I know Calvin Noy had it right there. He wasn't expecting it. He was trying to bat the ball, but man, like he just closed his hands in. He has it. Marlowe missed one. I think Roquan could have had one. I think there's more. They dropped a few interceptions. Can't do that. If you want to be that team, you got to make those plays. Yeah, the roughing the passer on OA was ridiculous. Straight up ridiculous. Nothing there. And that would have gotten them off the field. So, all right, we're getting out of here. Check us out on Wednesday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time is the LBHT show. And we follow that up with the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT show. For as little as $5 a month, you get the Overtime Show. You get access to our Discord. What are you laughing at, B?
No, you're welcome, Danny. Huh? He says, thank you. I was on my way. I put the TJ every time out.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Danny's on it. All right. But yes, also right there, lbhtshow.com/shop is where you can find our merch. lbhtshow.com is where you can sign up for our newsletter. We're working on that. We're talking behind the scenes. That's going to get launched pretty soon. So sign up for it. Okay. All right. We're out of here. And on a positive note, we got to win. We don't over here in Baltimore. We don't like how it looked at the end, but we got the win. Panthers, it's all good. Now we just got to talk about the rest of the season and what to do with Bryce Young. But you're on the right track over there.
What to do with Bryce Young? Sit him on the bench. He doesn't. He shouldn't. He shouldn't see the field again for Carolina this year.
Unless Andy Dalton kind of reverts back a little bit.
Even then, like he doesn't offer anything. Like it's just there's no point, right? At this point, like, he needs to sit down. He needs to just rebuild his own confidence. He needs to work on the mental part of the game. He doesn't need the pressure of carrying the team. He doesn't need the pressure that's going to come with him going back into the game, trying to salvage his career, because that'll be the narrative at that point. If he plays again this season, hey, if he goes in there and he plays poorly, he's done. So he shouldn't see the field again this year. Even if Andy Dalton plays more like the Andy Dalton that we all know from recent times, they just need to bring in another quarterback. Or bring in another quarterback, and they got Jack Plummer. He played in the preseason. Let him play. I don't care. Bryce should not see this. He should not see the field again this season.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there. I think we're gonna have more of a discussion on this on Wednesday. But appreciate y'all coming through. B, you ready? Looks like you're ready.
Yes, very ready.
We're out of here. Go watch some football. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday. Peace.